From the Black Swan Media Studios, deep inside a secret underground bunker, we're speaking to freedom-loving patriots from all around the country and the world. Welcome to the Resistance. This is John Crump, live.
And we are back. I didn't think I was going to make it today for various reasons, working on a kind of a big story. Also, I'm not 100% better yet, as you can probably hear. So Rich is going to be doing a lot of heavy lifting for us on this show because we're going to be talking to Mike from CMMG, one of the most innovative firearms brands on the planet. Love CMMG stuff. And with that, let's go ahead and bring on Mike. How you doing, Mike? Mike.
I don't know if you guys can hear me, but for some reason I just lost audio.
You might
okay, we hear
I'm trying to sort this out real quick. I could hear you in the backstage, but I can't hear you now.
Oh, wow. John, you're the veteran of troubles with StreamYard.
Maybe leave and rejoin. Or maybe it might be a browser issue.
Yeah. Yeah, you mean reboot, the old Microsoft problem?
Yeah, if you can't hear us, I'll just put that up there.
Yeah, of course it goes and does something weird like that right as it launches. So I'm like, hang on. Like everything went dead. So I kind of have this weird fix right now that's not a good fix.
Yeah. But if you restart your browser, it might work.
It's going to kick you out, so restart your browser.
Yeah, are you on Chrome?
Sorry about that, guys.
Are you
hearing a weird echo
good
with me?
No, you're good.
Okay. If the audio that you're hearing from me is fine, I can limp through with what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, it's clear. There's a button in Chrome that sometimes will freak out and kill sound to like platforms like StreamYard or like the Zoom browser plugin or the whatever.
Is Google doing it intentionally?
Okay, I'm going to try one more thing.
Probably.
Quick.
Like I said, I'm going to let Rich do a lot of the heavy lifting here. You got it?
I am perfect now.
All right. Well, that's awesome.
So, Mike, I met Mike at Iraq Veteran, I don't know how many years ago, and with what, an oven mitt, and basically doing a meltdown on, a not meltdown, I should say.
Yeah, it's unintentional meltdowns. It's actually just abused the living tar out of one of our guns that we take to Iraq Vet every year. So
they bring a full auto mutant, and there is nothing but steel casing all at the end of the firing line there. It's funny. I see pictures, people taking pictures and using that as their background and stuff like that.
Man, it's kind of become our identifier because except for this year they moved the firing line forward, which kind of messed with us a little bit, but it's a term of endearment. But right there on that hill, right there beside where we always set up, the guys at Red Hill Range have deemed it mutant poop.
That's cool.
And they never cleaned it up. It's always just that steel casing there. I mean, during the event, people will come slide down that hill like they're skiing, or they'll do brass or steel case angels in it like you would a snow angel. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, you guys bring some really cool stuff.
We try to.
Really cool though.
Yeah, that's the one thing that if we don't bring it, people would be mad at us. So it's kind of a catch-22 because we've brought that to so many events that people expect it at an
Oh
event.
yeah.
But I'm supposed to be at an event to showcase new stuff, and people don't care about the new stuff. They want to shoot it.
Hey man, when you got something that works,
Right?
That's what SHOT Show is for. It's like I go to the booth, what's new, that kind of thing.
Well, we quit doing SHOT Show in 2020, so
I quit doing SHOT Show after this year.
yeah.
Crump has recovered from SHOT Show.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure SHOT Show 2020 was ground zero for the COOF, because it was like everybody always gets what we call the SHOT Show crud. But man, at 2020, like I actually got sick during the show. Like it has never hit me that early, and like so many people I know got sick like way worse than ever and quicker than ever. So I'm willing to say that, I mean, because you think about it, there is a bunch of non-U.S. nationals that like going around taking photographs of stuff to copy in a country that it doesn't matter.
Yeah, well, 2020, I got COVID while the Uber was sitting outside my house.
Yeah, so 2020 was the first year I went to SHOT, and I was going to go with John. I was a little excited, and it's like I think I was already there or whatever.
You were on the plane when I woke up. I started feeling bad, and then like as the Uber's on its way, I was like, "Man, I better take a COVID test." And I was positive for COVID. And this year I came back with pneumonia, bacterial antibiotic resistant pneumonia. That's had me sick for over a month now.
I saw you've been down.
Yeah, I've been hard down. I mean, every time I think I'm getting better, I get worse. Yeah. But Rich, I need to take this phone call. Sorry.
Yeah, all right, man. So yeah, the first year there, I was taking ivermectin just prophylactically. I'm like, because Walter Keller always talks about the SHOT Show crud,
right?
And or Mung. I'm sorry, he says Mung. That's his term.
Well, we have. So we've always had at our booth, like every time you turn around, you're going to see a hand sanitizer pump somewhere, and it's just like, I mean, we're all taking like emergency and all that stuff because we just know it's going to happen. Right. But yeah, I mean, after 2020, we had already signed up to do SHOT Show 2021. But then as 2020 progressed, we realized, trade shows and being there in person doesn't have to happen as much. It's not as, I mean, look what we're doing here. I mean, we're on camera talking to each other. You can get a pretty good amount of business done similarly. So we actually took the money that we saved by not doing SHOT Show and not doing an NRA show, and we built our own facility. So
cool.
So we bought like 33 acres. We have a 300-yard range, covered shooting area. Like, I mean, we've got like gigabit internet out there. So if we bring content creators, so if we bring content creators out, they have places at the range to charge their phones, plug their equipment in. They can broadcast from there, so it's, I mean, we've got ceiling fans out there and stuff for the summer. We've got heaters in the winter. We've got a clubhouse that you can just, if you don't want to be on the range, you can hang at. So it's,
that's crazy.
It's amazing how much of a money pit SHOT Show can be and what you can do with that money if you don't spend it at SHOT Show.
Yeah. So I guess I got some questions. I love your origin story. Can you tell us about the start of CMMG, like how they started out?
Well, I mean, like how far back we want to go. Like, I mean, essentially, I mean, so CMMG is owned by two brothers and their wives. So you've got the four people that own CMMG. We started back in 2002, and they kind of started off by being by assembling ARs for other manufacturers and stuff, and then they got into being able to make all the contacts, and then we started making our own, and we kind of did our build to order type stuff. Like, okay, back when you could remember, it was a very old website. but I can remember it clear as day. Like you'd see a picture of a gun and say, okay, I want this base gun. And then you chose the barrel profile, the handguard, the sights, I mean, they would take and drill the barrel for a front sight base, or, if you wanted it mid length versus carbine length. So, I mean, everything was literally you customized it however you wanted directly from us. And then we would build it and send it on out. And then we would go to a lot of local gun shows. Like my first CMMG, I purchased from the guys at CMMG before I ever worked for them, because I mean, they were from my hometown. So for me, it was something inherently cool about having an AR-15 with my hometown on it.
Oh, sure.
So I was just like, this is awesome. I've known these guys since, I met the owners, I'll just say 30 plus years ago at church. And for me, it was just like, this is super cool. This is an AR from my hometown. And I started building ARs using a lot of CMMG parts. I got into one of the sister companies and just kind of carved my own path, so to speak, within the companies. And I've now been with the companies for a little over 11 years. So it's, and it's just been, when we started doing our own stuff, we just kind of kept it simple. And then we started, just slowly making changes and introductions. Obviously the 22 kit was probably one of our biggest things that really took off. Our Mark 9mm that took Colt mags. And then what really kind of put us on the radar was the Mark 47. We just came out with something completely different. And then we just kind of took that mentality and have ran with it, constantly changing and doing new stuff, because we're just, we're not okay with just sitting back and hammering out another 5.56 or 300 blackout in a different color with different handguards. We're constantly trying to come up with something different. We've got, I think I was talking to Joe on his podcast, and we have, we've already the 12.5-inch Descent Mark 47 just released. The 45 Descent is coming next month. A couple days is next month, but it'll be the later part of March. We've got at least 4 more guns coming out this year.
Like totally new or new calibers? What are you talking about?
2 will be completely new calibers. 2 will be new calibers in existing platforms. And then we have just a whole new platform. We're just, plus we also just relaunched our suppressor line. So, I mean, 2024 is shaping up to be an insanely busy year right now.
It seems like it.
Yeah. It's just a madhouse. We're just running.
Yeah, you guys have grown a lot over the past few years.
Well, that's another thing we did with no longer going to SHOT Show. In addition to building our own range and everything, we also added we took our factory and almost doubled it in size at the same time that we built we went from 40,000 square feet to like 73,000 square feet. So, and we're in the process of putting a new CNC machine in right now. Like it was just delivered like last week. It's still getting wired and all that stuff all kind of put together as we speak.
Now, let me ask you a question. Do you think SHOT Show is a waste of money for the companies to advertise there, or it's not for you guys?
Well, there is definitely an advantage of advertising there, but there is no way you will get a good return on your investment, because the investment just to go to SHOT Show is absolutely insane. I kind of crunched the numbers when I did a podcast with Joe here a few weeks back, and a lot of people don't stop to think about it. So like you have a price per square foot just to have the space in the show floor. If you want that to be an island or a corner that's open, you pay additional. Plus there's the general processing fee. And that's just to have an empty space. Now you have to build the booth,
which are incredibly expensive. I saw some prices on that. I was like, holy crap. I was like, dude, I'm in the wrong business. I'm going to go buy a bunch of still scaffolding and set up in Vegas somewhere and be like, hey, look.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of big companies that are set up in Vegas because that's just they're headquartered there now because of how many conventions are in that area. So
it would blow your mind how much.
I worked for a company, totally. Well, I don't want to say IT industry, but complete not the firearms industry. And they had a 2-story booth in Vegas, and we did okay. We weren't we're not a Fortune anything company. There's an owner, but it was more of an ego thing. And they built this monstrosity of a booth. They stored it in Vegas, and then they never used it again because they never rented as much space.
Right.
So I don't know if they just burned the booth or what they did with it.
A lot of times those places, depending on where you get them from, you could actually rent it out to another company that can reskin it. Right. Or you might be able to have built it in such a way that it is somewhat modular so that you could maybe use pieces of it for a smaller booth in a different location. But, I mean, when it's all said and done, if we bought a new booth, the floor space, paying our people to be there, hotel, airfare, food, all that stuff, the manufacturing of the guns to get there, the shipping, all that stuff.
And then t-shirts for me.
Yeah. I mean, SHOT Show alone for us could cost over $600,000.
Yeah, it's really crazy.
Yeah. I mean, you figure SIG's floor space when they quit, because they didn't show up to 2021 either, and they haven't been back to SHOT Show either. But their floor space was so big that just their floor space was getting close to how much our total show expense was. And then you have to figure they have all those other expenses on it too. So it's insane.
Yeah.
So it's very hard to get a return on investment. I mean, ideally you want to sit there and try to draw up and write up as many deals as you can, but that's a big one to overcome when you figure, okay, we can buy our own land, bring people in, and we have a captive audience.
Right.
So like when they come see us, guess what? The only thing they saw was CMMG product.
Right. So, and as a content creator, that's exactly what I'd want. I'd want to be on your range with your gear, with your equipment, talking to you.
Yep.
Yeah. That would be the ultimate.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. I was just wondering, because I'm hearing more and more people pull out a shot for the exact reasons that you were saying, that there's no return on investments.
Yeah, I mean, it's you want to stay relevant, you want to be there in the mix. But I mean, I honestly feel being in the mix, you get a little bit more out of attending the NRA show than you do SHOT Show. And that's just personal feelings on it, because at NRA show I can sell. I could run show specials and so I can sell non-serialized stuff directly from my booth. So I can be making some money from swag and various things. Like I'll bring 22 kits, lower parts kits, various things to sell. But I'll also do like promo codes where you can walk over to a kiosk that we had set up that you could just punch it in right there, place an order, and get a heck of a discount on a gun that you just looked at. So that's
a great deal. Yeah.
And it's also it's more fun to me to get the end consumer excited about the product, because it's it's me talking to me. I'm a gun dude. I want somebody to get me pumped about why I want their gun. Trying to get floor space or wall space in a gun shop is trickier. So you get the customer excited, then you get them to go to their gun shop and start asking about it, and now they're going to possibly carry it. I see DLD After Dark there. What's up? Yeah. I'm trying to keep up on some of the comments too, and they're going by fast. So.
Oh yeah.
They will.
They
Good Meme
will.
says invest in memes.
Memes is the way. I'm fairly fluent in memes. I actually, it's funny. I answer emails and everything at work with memes a lot. So. I'm real official. Well, at least internally. Externally, it depends on who it is. There are certain people I will do that with, but I guess I do have to be professional in some aspects.
Well, I actually got an IT job where they asked, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And I used the Peter Griffin answer. I said, sleeping with your mom. They rolled laughing and I got a job offer. But you got to know the audience.
One time the ATF asked me, not the ATF, sorry, the FBI asked me what I was doing on a certain date. Long story. And I said, your mom. And the guy's like, what? Like, your mom.
Oh,
it was stupid because they questioned everyone at a certain location that worked at a certain location for something that happened. And I'm not even sure. I'm not even exactly sure what it was. But I'm like, why are you asking questions? Like, well, we're asking everyone who works here questions. I'm like, okay. Like, on this date, where were you? What were you doing? And I was like, I was doing your mom. And the guy was like, what? I was doing your mom. If you have anything else to ask, I talked to my attorney and I walked out. I was like 22, 23 at the time.
wow.
But that's the answer I would have given at that age.
I didn't do anything. It was just they decided to question everyone who worked at a location. It was probably something to do with computer stuff.
I always think of
John and I are both tech geeks, our day gig.
Yeah.
But why would you question everyone who worked at a location?
To equality, diversity, equity, and equality?
No. I think it was just they had no. They I think they probably traced something back to that building. You're like, oh, that's everyone in there.
It reminds me of the questions being done on Office Space. You know how they had to bring everybody in and ask them questions, and
mine was.
What would you say you do here? Your mom.
Yeah, and
my daughter just started. She just found out about Office Space. She's 21 and she just started watching it. And it's funny. Back in the day, my wife and I used to watch it, and just would like it. If you work at an office, you get like, ugh, it's so uncomfortable.
Right.
Throughout the whole show, it's like, oh my gosh, it's amazing how they can convey that.
No, I just got up, walked out, went back to my desk, and they never came in and got me or asked me any other questions.
I always like the Mitch Hedberg answer to the, where do you see yourself in 5 years? He's like, celebrating the 5-year anniversary. Are you asking me this question?
Well, I mean, on job interviews, I always call that the beauty contest question. It's like, what answer do you want? It's like, tell me something good about you. Tell me something bad about you. It's like, please don't ask those questions. That's stupid.
What I love is when they ask you, when they ask you, what's your goal for the next 5 years? And my answer is always the same: not die.
not die and be making a comfortable living.
And I don't mean to be a jerk about this, but Mike, you're 11 years at this company. Good for you. I've spent longest I've been at a company is 6 years, and I've been doing consulting. So
yeah,
I mean, my last gig was like 18 months, and I did a really short-term one that was a couple of weeks. But
right,
it's like 5 years. I might not be here, statistically.
Well, in this industry, it's unheard of to hear somebody at the same company for as long as I've been with this company. I mean, because I have a bunch of friends that I've made over the years that I consider good friends, and I've seen them go from this company to this company to this company. But at least they're still in the industry, and I'm still able to keep tabs on them. But yeah, it's just this industry gets a fair amount of turnover at times.
Yeah, it is. When I go meet people, I see people like, hey, so how's such a? I haven't worked there that was like 5 jobs ago. I work for this company now, but it's just it's like then you see them like a year later. I'm like, so how's it? I don't work there anymore. I went back to the company that I worked for 5 years ago.
That's why you're hoping you go to an event and they're wearing a name badge that has what company they're working for, so you can see it before you open your mouth.
I have no idea.
Right.
I'm just like, whatever.
So going back to your products, who is the brainiac that comes up with, radial delay blowback and all that stuff? I mean, that's pretty big brain stuff.
Well, that one was Jordan, like our I can't remember his exact title, but like design engineer manager or something. Jordan's been with us for quite some time. Radial delay blowback was his baby. We've got I'm trying to remember how many we have currently. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have at least 5 engineers in house. And so our owners themselves also are brilliant when it comes to trying to come up with something different. So, they'll have an idea and they'll kind of, piece something together and they'll bring it into the engineering department and be like, okay, make this, but better. So there's like a really rough idea of what it could be, and our engineers like, okay, let's make it better. Or our owners will be like, okay, I really like this, but I want it to do this. Figure out how to do it, and our engineers are like, okay, that's our next task. If you see our whiteboard of possible projects, it's insane, and it's funny because
that's what's behind the banner there,
right? Yeah, I mean, I've seen so many things that have like been top of the list, and then next thing you know, I'll come in and be like, "Hey, where'd that go?" They're like, "Yeah, we booted that to maybe 3 years from now because we just realized that's probably not what we want to be working on." So it's now down in the corner. So things get shuffled on that board a lot, and it's really kind of fun to see what's coming out next or what they're working on, because we typically work so far in advance. By the time we release a new product, we're already behind the scenes looking at the cool next stuff. So kind of internally, sometimes the stuff that just got released is kind of old news to us internally. But we still have to make sure we're like, hey, okay, this is the new hotness and this is why. Yeah.
Now, do you guys 3D print anything? Because Brandon Herrera was talking about, designing something, 3D printing it so they knew that it would work right, and then sending it out, getting it machined.
Yep. So we have multiple stages. So we actually it's the part of the nice thing about growing as much as we have is we'll do a lot of 3D printed stuff, just to kind of check tolerances and things and be like, okay, this theoretically should work. Then we'll take those measurements and we literally have a CNC machine that's just for prototyping. So like if we need to run something on it, parts wise, we could, but we have a CNC machine. It's like, okay, it 3D printed. Now let's make it, out of aluminum and let's see what it does. And then that's where so much of our T&E stuff comes from. They'll build, a ton of different pieces, and it's funny. You'll see like they built this and this should work, but then they're like, oh, it didn't quite work. So they'll cut it and they'll literally add, a 32nd of an inch in between it just to elongate it, or they'll have to cut some of it off just to. It's really kind of fun to see the varying stages of the prototype stuff.
So the Franken prototype.
Oh, we've got a ton of it's really funny because when we came out with the shorter barrel Descents, we were looking at some of the rifles, and we literally had like 8-inch barrel Descent with like a full rifle stock and stuff on it. It's just like you look at it and you're like, that's hideous, but it shoots incredible. So it's like now we have to find that happy balance. I'm like, where can we get it where it looks to a point that people want it and it still shoots incredible?
Right. So Dark, Crump, and I had a AR-15 build competition where we built the shortest AR-15 you could. Crump's gonna say I cheated because Walter Keller built mine, but I did hammer a couple of roll pins in.
Yeah, we all built our own. Rich got someone to build it for him.
So
it's an AR-15. It's not that hard.
Well, I had a 4-inch barrel on it. I took a 4.5-inch barrel, cut the threads off on a lathe, and I had like a super short buffer tube and super short carrier with like with a titanium weight in it, so it would be
I did like an internal carrier type thing where the spring went through the carrier, and
so that thing went off. It literally, basically, a lot of the powder, 90% of the powder, was burning outside of the barrel. I could feel the heat on my arms from it. I got pictures of it. You can see the glow on my arms and on my chest when I'm shooting the thing.
Right.
But yeah, it's fun doing crazy stuff. I want to hit something that Dark asked. Do you know people in the 3D printing community? Are you familiar with people in the projects?
Oh yeah.
So
I mean, so a lot of our like zeroed stuff, like our I mean, we have a lot of stuff that actually starts off as 3D printing. We actually have a company here in Central Missouri that does like industrial 3D printing. So we've actually worked with a few of those guys regarding building the initial runs of something until which we're typically fine, but sometimes after a little bit of extra testing, we might realize that, okay, maybe that needs to be an injection molded part. So we'll have to switch things up and we'll go do an injection molding. But speaking of 3D printing, our new rifle suppressors are 3D printed Inconel.
Yeah. I saw a company doing that at SHOT Show. Well, what I was getting at, so Dark said you need to hire Invader Zip. At Invader Zip, he did an AR-9 and an AR-15, and the upper and the lower are completely 3D printed in PLA+.
Really?
So pretty amazing. Another guy, Hoffman Tactical, Tim Hoffman, he designed a force reset trigger that has 2 ports, and you can 3D print it.
Really?
It's there's some crazy stuff out there.
Oh, I've been seeing all sorts of 3D printed stuff that has just been blowing my mind lately. I mean, I've got 2 FDM printers sitting right over here on the shelf, just off camera view. So,
what kind of printers you got?
Prusa's.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I'm rocking the I was gonna say Ender 3. The Bamboo P1P. That's.
I am really wanting to sell my Prusas for some bamboos because those things are pretty impressive. But I'll tell you, the Prusas are very hands off compared to the Enders that I had. Like the Enders that I used to have, it was you had to like re-level them every time you made a print. You were always fidgeting with them. It kind of drove me nuts. So that's why I really love the Prusas, is because I trust them to run. But I'll tell you what, the bamboos have
it's a quantum leap above that.
That's what I'm seeing. I saw somebody asking how close are we to Sedalia? Yeah, Jordan Venro. Sedalia is about 45 minutes southwest of us.
So Jordan owns JSD Firearms, PR Triggers, Gideon Optics, and Eagle Show. Yeah. Yeah, so Jordan's a big player.
Nice. Well, to meet.
So I'll have to, because I had the guy on that designed the Gatling gun I was showing you parts of earlier. So I'm going to drop that in here. Hold on a second. I got to click the right buttons without launching a weapon. Why is it like 15 clicks to get this done? So
I don't know. CNT Design says, you perp say hi to little Crumpy. That's my son Mickey turned 7 yesterday.
So this is 3D printed, and that's what I'm printing right now. So I just finished the delinker. So that's part of the delinker, because the ammo is actually, it's 3D printed links. When do we get to shooting? Oh, okay, right there. So that's just freaking crazy in my mind.
Come out and PLA AO almost a full half year. Thank you. Come out PLA.
That is insane.
And this is little Nikki, who just turned 7 yesterday. Isn't that right,
Hey,
Nikki?
Nick.
Say hi.
Hi.
Happy birthday a day late.
He says happy birthday a day late.
Thank you.
Thank you. You gonna tell him what you ate last night?
What?
Where did we go?
Uncle Julio's?
Uncle Julio's.
Uncle Julio's, not pizza?
No. Why do you go to Uncle Julio's? What do you like there?
Chips.
He likes the chips. They make the chips fresh there.
Oh yeah.
Is that chips and salsa or chips and queso?
Both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had Taco Bell when I was a kid. That was it.
It's not even the same Taco Bells when we were kids either.
No.
It is so different now. I'm amazed at how much money I could spend at Taco Bell now.
Hey,
Oh,
tell everyone what you wanted for your birthday. What you asked people to give to your birthday party.
What?
What did you tell people to do for your birthday party instead of giving you presents?
Donate money to the poor.
Donate
Wow.
money to charity.
Oh, I was not that kid.
No, I wasn't either. I was
So
great.
instead of getting presents, he had people donate money to charities.
That's awesome.
Wow.
To help
That's a
poor
big
kids,
blessing.
right?
Mhm.
I'm trying to raise them right.
You're doing a good job, Crumpy.
I would agree.
All I got to say, so when I was a kid, or in my 20s, my mother would tell me, I hope you have kids just like you because of all the
It's
bad
not.
stuff I did. And I would think to myself, I never said it out loud. I'm like, Mom, you don't know half the bad crap I've done.
I'm gonna see if
And
I'm gonna get a chair.
I lucked out. My daughter, she had her first semester of college was not great. Not that it was bad, but it was less than what I would approve of.
Less
But,
than stellar.
well, she got the idea she could drink. Let's put it that way, and she did that. Not bad, not like I did. I was, an all-star as far as drinking skills go. But yeah, she finally flew right, straightened out and flew right. But yeah, wow. I'm impressed, John.
Yeah, he decided he wanted to help out poor kids.
What's funny is he just came walking in with that ball in the background. I swear he was walking in with cymbals. And I was like, he's about to make a lot of noise.
No.
Mike, you have kids?
I do not. Yeah, I've been married a couple times, and I do not have kids. I mean, I'm a big kid myself. It's hard enough to get myself to grow up sometimes.
Yeah, my wife.
Oh,
says
okay.
my wife says that we have 3 kids,
Oh yeah.
with 2 boys
Yeah.
and me. But Nikki here, he's very smart. He speaks English and a little bit of Spanish and a little bit of Italian. So
Really,
3 languages.
that's awesome.
Dude,
That's 7.
Crumpy's wife is fresh off the boat.
What's that?
Crumpy is fresh off the boat. Wife
wow.
is fresh off the boat from Italy.
Ah.
So yeah, it's kids are fun, but I married into a 5-year-old, so
Yeah.
my wife's 5-year-old daughter won't got married. So I missed the diaper part. I didn't have to deal with that.
That's not a fun part.
Yeah, so
But,
from what
I
I
know what
understand, that's definitely the phase to miss.
Right. It's but I know the big kid thing. I mean,
Right.
I'm sure you got a gun room at home, right?
Yeah. I mean, how's the saying go? The difference between men and boys is the price of our toys. I mean, it's and of course, then you also get the group of people that you're calling it a toy, like, yeah,
Get a sense of humor.
right.
And Nikki, what did you get in second? What did you get second place in?
What?
What did you get second place in?
Matthew got second place in the pilot.
Yeah, but that overall. But what did you get second place for your age group?
The Pound Derby.
The Pinewood Derby.
Ah,
Nice.
cool.
I got.
I have such fond memories of that as a kid.
Yeah.
So, Crump, did you see Mike has Funko Pops in the back there?
I did see that.
I'm surprised Matthew got.
Crump has
fucking
like a whole room
alcohol.
full of Funko Pops.
Oh, yeah?
I got several thousand Funko Pops.
No, this is me.
Oh, you got one of the pop yourself things?
I did. So I got I'm like, I got a Funko Pop of myself.
Yeah, I got several thousand Funko Pops. That's why people give me a hard time.
Yeah,
like
I don't have a ton of them. I usually grab some that for some reason, whatever one might it grabs me for a particular reason. And then I have a few people that think because of that, I collect a lot of Funko Pops, so they give me some, and I'm like, so like there's a couple shelves here, like this little group right here are like the primary ones that like those are my favorites. But then I've got a couple Bill Murrays, I've got the guys from Tombstone. There's a few that are like kind of my favorites, and yes, I do the bad thing and take them out of the box and all that stuff.
Yeah. How many?
You have a Deadpool?
I do not.
I have multiple Deadpools. How many Funko Pops do you think I have on display? Not the ones that I have in boxes, but just the ones I have on display.
Who are you asking?
You, Rich, you've been in my house.
Well, I know
you have a better idea than I do. So I'm
Not the
hoping
ones
you
move.
Well, you move them into the theater room, and they're all under the screen. So there had to be, I don't know, 100, 200 in that room.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Did that have a lot of Funko Pops?
I saw a mutant Groot one.
A mutant Groot. Yeah, I got a bunch of Groots.
They're like, it's a mutant one.
Yep.
Let me show you.
Mutant, I can get behind that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm just enamored with Funko Pops.
Yeah, they are a ton of fun. But then my favorite horror over here, I've got Friday the 13th, but I've got like, I don't know if you can see it partially here. I got a Lucille hanging on the wall.
The Lucille, that's the Todd McFarlane Lucille, right?
The
designed by Todd McFarlane is the guy who designed it. McFarlane Toys. I'm pretty sure
it may have been. I mean, Lucille obviously Walking Dead, but this was one like a guy that I found a guy on Etsy like making these really good.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah, I bought the Tom McFarlane collector's edition of it.
He always makes some really good collector's editions of stuff.
Yeah, he does. They're not toys; they're collectibles.
Yeah, I think he was first on my radar back in the day of like Spawn.
Yeah, dude, Spawn was awesome. Todd McFarlane is a famous comic book artist. He was originally worked for Marvel, where he did Spider-Man, and then from Spider-Man he went to and found Image Comics, where he started Spawn.
That's awesome.
I'm a good comic book. I'm a geek, man.
So Ron Bear says one is too many. Is that Funko Pops? One is too many.
I think that's what he's talking about.
I'll disagree. Rich, do you have any?
No, I don't.
We need to fix that.
He tried to print one.
Oh yeah.
He tried to print a Funko Pop.
Maybe not.
You did.
No, actually, did I? Yeah, I did print.
I'll say there's tried. So was that failed successfully or?
It was part of a larger plan.
They were going to make a Crumple Pop.
What's a Crumple Pop?
It's a Funko Pop of me that Flying Rich here was going to go.
Yeah.
So I printed one. I printed a mold, and I was going to start molding Crumple Pops.
Someone actually did it.
And
it was a mystery.
Get them out in the public and displayed on a day.
Yeah.
Part of a plan, but I let it slip. I said Crumpo Pop one day, just kind of as a joke, and Crump started investigating.
I'm an investigative journalist. What do you expect?
And found out what I was up to.
What I do? I'm an investigative journalist.
Because Crump would get me. He would. I can't say how, but in a very public way. I can tell you later.
No, you can't.
After the show. I can't tell.
You're not supposed to tell anyone.
Can't tell anyone? All right.
It's an NDA thing.
Okay.
I
So
guess you can tell them after the show because you already told them that, but
Crump would F with me in a major way.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about it offline. No, but let's get back to CMMG.
So, did you know I'm a nut job for 5.7 millimeter? I just love 5.7 millimeter. Don't know why, but
Well, we were one of the first companies to actually have any sort of aftermarket support for 5.7. Like we actually got a hold of PS90s like before they technically were like released to the public for sale, and already kind of reverse engineered and got a short barrel for them. So like if you go to our website now, I mean, one of our first 5.7 products was the short barrel to convert your PS90 into the P90 short barrel. And we actually had those barrels available again before you could widely find PS90s in public. So yeah, it got to the point like if we were at some big show like NRA or something, if people were asking about what it would take to get a shorter barrel for it, people from FN would walk people to our booth and say, buy it from these guys.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Well, some of that stuff is stupid expensive.
Yeah. So we started off 5.7 with that way, and then we did the Mark 57, which took the FN 5.7 style magazines. Then we did the 5.7 conversion magazines, and now those both live in most of our platforms.
Okay, let me ask you a question. A lot of people don't know this, but what does CMMG stand for?
It's a question I'll always avoid. I jokingly say it's classified. So legally, it doesn't stand for anything. So like if you go to any of the legal paperwork, it is not an acronym or anything. But there is a trade secret out there, but you won't get me to divulge it in a public forum.
Okay.
I mean, we allude to it a lot. I mean, we basically slap people in the face with hints on it, and we have a lot of fun doing that. But yeah, it's there is a story behind it, but it's a story that I like to let the owners tell whenever they choose to, because it's kind of their story. You mean
it doesn't stand for Central Missouri Machine Gun?
And it never has. Yeah, one year at like SHOT Show, I don't know if a writer, that's how he remembered the letters CMMG, but yeah, it came out as Central Missouri Machine Gun, and it kind of stuck. A lot of people thought that, but no, it technically does not. I mean, I'll be honest, it's not a huge secret. It's out on the interwebs. So
are the owners Top Gun fans?
They might be.
So I thought it stood for Cougar, Merlin, Maverick, and Goof.
I cannot confirm nor deny. This is involved canned bacon. I like that though. Safety Harbor said it involved canned bacon. I wish we could still. I'll tell you what, man, the tactical bacon has kind of run its course. The people that we got it from are, man, they are dealing with so many loopholes and stuff from the FDA right now. It's insane.
Oh my gosh.
So I would say tactical bacon's probably not coming back.
Oh yeah, I got that T-shirt.
Yeah.
I like the T-shirt I like is the Kool-Aid Man.
Yeah. My wife hates that shirt. She won't let me wear it.
Just curiosity, why? Because the Kool-Aid Man, is it the color, or is there a particular reason?
Nah, she like, this is what she wants me to wear. So Crump, finally I'm wearing a shirt. Well, I did get it for free. It was a Christmas gift. But Crump always says I only wear free shirts.
Oh my goodness, you're wearing a brand name shirt.
Yes.
Right.
A designer shirt.
Yeah. So my wife doesn't like most of my gun shirts. I think she thinks they look like comic books or whatever. I'm like, yes, the Kool-Aid one is like one of the coolest shirts I own, and my wife won't let me wear it.
We have a lot of fun doing those. I mean, because that's the thing. Like, people are like, well, how do you get around the licensing? Well, we do those only for like Iraq Vet, and we don't sell them. We bring them to give away. We're losing money on doing that stuff. So it's just like we had the MTNT, like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle shirt.
Yes, that was a great one.
We had the Captain Crunch shirt. We've had a few around on our website too. Like We've got like a Contra shirt, a Legend of Zelda shirt. We just have fun with it.
They might fall under fair use as parody.
It's possible, but a couple of the things that we've parodied, we parody from companies that have very big lawyers. So it's just like
that's the problem with fair use. You got to be able to defend it.
Right. So that's why we're like, okay, if we're gonna do something that's a little questionable, we're just gonna make it where we're not making any money on it. It's just a novelty that we're giving away. So it's.
So, speaking of lawyers, I'm guessing you guys have a lot of patents, right?
We do. Actually, it's funny because I just got a email today that we have a patent that is supposed to get like approved and be official like tomorrow. My engineers are all over the place on the patents and keeping everything going. So yeah, it's a ton of small things. Like one of the little patents that people probably wouldn't realize is you figure a typical like drop-in auto sear. Well, it's got to be a different size to work in a 308. Nobody ever did one. So we have the patent on the 308 auto sear.
Oh, that's too funny.
So
that's like the wheel. I'm like, what? Are you kidding me?
Yeah. I mean, we dig into that. We go down that rabbit hole and we're like, nobody's made this or done this. All right, we'll do it.
So
if you look at the AR-15 auto sear patent, it is actually measurement specific.
Right.
So I can see where that would be open because no one really did one.
And I think that not that I know a lot about this, but most patents are just general designs. They don't give to the millimeter what the size is. So this way because you're like, it's a millimeter wider. It's not the same thing.
Yeah, that's the downfall of quote unquote mil spec. They literally have they literally have specifications, and if you can still get something to work and fall outside of those specifications, it's like, I mean, for the longest time, like Daniel Defense, their guns they've touted as mil spec plus because it's like, okay, for it to be mil spec, it needs to be made of this material. Well, guess what? That material was half-ass okay in the 50s. Now that we've got some time and learned a little more metallurgy, we're like, hey, look, we can build it out of better materials. That's not quite the spec, but it works better.
It exceeds the specs.
Yep.
And you get patented there.
Right? Yeah. So
I mean, it has to be about 20% different from an existing patent before you can get a new patent for it.
And I'll tell you what, that was one of the tricky things. Like forever, everybody wanted us to do a side charger, and we just recently did a side charger because every time we looked to try and do on a different side charger, every little rabbit hole we would go down, we found so many people that had so many patents on various side chargers, even if they weren't production. Somebody had the idea, it was different than that one, and they got it patented. And then we would try to reach out to them. They're like, I don't want to license it or anything. I'm like, okay. So yeah, you really have to navigate that stuff really tricky.
Why wouldn't you want to, like, I got a patent that's doing nothing. Let me make some money on it.
Well, you have patent trolls, and what they do is they patent every little thing. The most generic stuff they can get through the patent office, and they wait for someone to start selling it, and they wait over time until there's a big enough market, and then they go in and they sue, and they actually get more money than if they would have licensed it in the first place.
Oh my God!
Then the courts can impose a specific licensing feature or amount that the company might not have been willing to pay.
Makes sense. Okay. Wow. Yeah, I don't want to do business that way.
Yeah,
and that's all they do.
So having a bunch of patents, does that mean you have to, hire attorneys to defend the patents also?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's our patents, there's the patents, trademarks, so many different things too. Like it's I don't know what of this I should be saying or can be saying, but there are fraudulent companies that pop up as web stores trying to emulate, companies, and they're like, and like all they do is take crypto. I'm like, that should be your first flag if that's the only payment they accept. But yeah, so we've
if something online takes crypto and Zelle, don't buy anything from them.
Yeah.
That's the only, if they don't use a regular credit card, then you can be totally hosed.
Rich learned the hard way.
Yeah, I bought $500 worth of 9mm that way. And then the scam part 2 was they're like, oh, the shipping company, the fake shipping company, they have a website and all that bit, says, oh, we need, $100 bond to deliver this or something like that.
Right.
And I'm like, what the heck?
Right. Yeah, I've heard a number of things like that before. I mean,
and apparently they do that in the pet industry also. So it's like, oh, you want this exotic, rare breed dog? And yeah, give me $50 or, whatever. So, where it would normally be thousands. It's like, yeah, I need to get rid of this dog, just sell me the money. And, so apparently that happens all the time.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, it's just, as I constantly look at, a lot of different things that we develop and try to explain to people, it's like from a manufacturing standpoint, from a marketing standpoint, you have to kind of do your best to make them, I don't know if I want to use this term or not, but you have to try to make things somewhat idiot proof, so that because you'd be surprised the questions that people come up with. But all I've realized is all we're doing is making a better idiot.
Yeah. So
and there's so many people that are just out to capitalize on just, I don't know, lack of research, lack of whatever. Because I mean, when I first found out about these fake storefronts, was like, I was looking for a specific Henry lever action, and I hop online. I'm like, wow, this store says they have it in stock, and literally nobody else has it in stock. And I got to dig in. They're like, yeah, it's like crypto only. And I'm like, oh, this is totally fake.
Well, somebody came up with the website. I'm not sure if it's still up anymore, but AmmoLand USA. And they actually put the contact information of AmmoLand on there. And
so
people are calling like, hey, where's my ammo? And AmmoLand's like, we don't sell ammo. We don't sell anything. We're a news organization.
Yeah. Yeah. We have a sister company that they're an ammo company. And fortunately, there are a number of people that are curious and do think that things could be fraudulent. And they're really skeptical of buying things from our sister company. So we are constantly like, no, we're legit. we have a storefront. Here's, but it's, so you have that obstacle too. So it's, you have fake businesses making real businesses harder to do business.
Oh yeah. Yeah, sure. It makes it harder for everybody. Well, I bought like 500 rounds of 5.7 ammo from some company in the Midwest, and I see the tracking and it says like 1 pound. And I looked them up. I looked on Google Maps before I bought. There was storefront. I could see the storefront. It was active. I think I may even looked up the business registration. So phone number, address, Google Maps, the business is, a legit business. And I call up the guy and he's like, oh yeah, I mean, I got to make some money somewhere. So I save it on the shipping. And I'm like, okay, and I got it. It was legit, but the post office always catches up to you on that.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. There's a lot of scams out there, and people just have to watch out. I bet you there's a CMMG ripoff site somewhere out there. That's not CMMG, but they probably rip off your site to make it look like it,
Oh, we've had to fight a few of those already. So
that's tough. So what's the next event? Is it SHOT Show, TriggerCon?
I'm still trying to sort all that out, honestly. Because I mean, we have our event that we host in September, but like before that, I mean, I know there's in April there is CanCon out in Arizona.
Oh, okay.
Then they'll do a CanCon in Georgia, like in October. And there's Iraq Vet. Ava just got a hold of me because I guess her dad's got a machine gun shoot coming up in September. I don't know
if Lincoln ammo right now. I saw the video.
Yeah, got to get prepared for that.
Look at this.
Then we got Iraq Vet and
wow, you guys ship directly to people's houses using cryptocurrency.
Oh, no way.
And that is a picture of my old video backdrop in my office too. Like,
really?
Yeah. But then you see that odd like font up on the top left where it's like a old West looking CMMG. So
yeah, but this is a fake site here, and you can add it to your cart, and you can check out using cryptocurrency.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and quote unquote shipped. Yeah, and quote unquote shipped directly to your house.
Rich, are you there, or did I lose?
No, I'm here. We're here. I hear you.
Weird. I lost audio.
$705.
Oh man.
Yeah, I'm looking at that. I'm like, oh, that's a product we haven't even sold since like 2020.
Ships to California.
You guys can probably hear me, but for some reason I can't hear you.
Yeah.
It's probably my fault. I had the technical issues to start with.
Be right back.
No, it's the law of sophistication. Crumpy has quite a sophisticated podcast area and the soundboard and all that bit. I'm using an old cell phone and a plug-in microphone.
Right.
I'm not sorry about that. Yeah, but that's a interesting thing, right? Proceed to checkout. Let's see what we check out. Oh, and you guys ship to California.
Yeah, we were noticing that.
Oh my gosh, that's unbelievable. And like here you are, you're trying to turn $1, take care of your employees.
And you can pay but with Zelle, cryptocurrency, or Cash App.
Oh man, I had a conversation about Cash App the other day with some guys in the office. Because like I'm personally just trying to sell some stuff like that I have that, I'm buying like new bug out bags and stuff, and I'm like, oh, I've had this bag forever, I don't need it anymore. So I'm like trying to get rid of the old when I'm coming in with the new. And I've got a lot of stuff just out of like a marketplace, and I always love I don't know why. And I apologize to anybody that uses it, but when I immediately have a message that somebody goes, "Did you take Cash App?" I'm like, I don't know why, but my brain is always raises that as a red flag. I know people use it all the time, but it being in the gun industry, I kind of have that, you hear people like, okay, this is for the poors.
Right.
It's I don't know why, but my brain just always my brain has a negative stigma attached to Cash App, and I don't necessarily know why.
I hear you. Yeah, it'll get branded that way.
Yeah, but you just have to be careful where you go to.
Yeah,
we've been running a little over an hour, and Mike, where can people find you, and what kind of closing bits of promotion or whatever you want to include?
Oh, well, got me on the spot there. I really wasn't thinking about that. I was just kind of enjoying speaking with like-minded people. CMMG.com, CMMG Inc., or just CMMG on most all socials. We are kind of all over the place. We're on the main ones. We're on Rumble, Truth. We're kind of everywhere that we can be. As far as the message, I got to follow
you guys on Truth and all that, because I'm not really that active, but I should be.
Well, it was kind of funny. We have a somewhat new social media person that we're still trying to round up some of the loose ends that we didn't realize were floating around out there. So we're getting a lot of that stuff hopefully going up and more if we can. But as far as the message goes, obviously go to our website, try to check out our product. Hopefully you'll find something you like. But I just have to give a huge I have to give you guys a huge thank you for having me on and for being in the trenches, fighting the fight that you guys fight. You know, you guys don't get, especially you, John, you don't get enough accolades, I don't think, for what you do. I think if people really realized, you would have you would just be inundated with a lot more stuff, and not that you're not a busy enough person to begin with.
Well, we're about to blow up the internet tomorrow.
Oh, really? I will be waiting.
It's an interesting story.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
be liked very much by people.
Let's see. You know, I mean,
in the government, at least.
Oh, well, I mean, you're not living right if you're liked by the government.
No, definitely not.
So, I mean, I'm a firm believer that you're not living right if you're not on at least half a dozen or more watch lists. So, I mean, it's just, you know, you got to live your life. You know, I'm a firm believer that I would say I'm fairly libertarian in the fact that I pretty much just live life as long as your liberties don't trample on my liberties. We're cool. You
That's
know,
the way it should be. Dark's on a watch list. He is.
No, he is. John knows. John looked him up.
We can't figure out why he's not allowed to bid on any government contracts, and he's like, have no idea why. The watch lists are screwed up. People get put on watch lists all the time that they shouldn't be on there. Like, he doesn't really care because he's not going to bid on any government contracts, but it's just weird that somehow his name got placed on there.
These lists aren't maintained. It's like voter registration. It's like you could be dead for 20 years and they still have you listed as a valid voter. You know,
or when they're putting in a social security number, they can screw up one digit. But like for a while back in like I guess 2010, 2011, I guess 2011. I couldn't get my income tax return because I owed back child support. But at the time, I didn't have a child. When they were typing in the social security number, because that's all done by hand, somebody fat fingered a social security number and hit my social security number.
Well, you had a hell of a time getting rid of that, right?
Yeah, actually, I had to get my friend who was a lawyer to actually go to battle for it, because they're like, you need to get information for the court saying that you no longer owe the child support, and the court's like, we can't give you that information because we don't have you on record for anything. Like, can you give me something that says that? They're like, no. So it was a really painful process. But yeah, so it just, one slip of the finger, and to get it fixed is just crazy.
Oh yeah, it's. I mean, I know it's something super stupid, but it's kind of similar. Like, I mean, my birth name is Michael. Through work, everybody calls me Mike. So much so that on all my official documents through work, they just have Mike listed. Well, I haven't felt the need to go to a doctor in a long time. I've recently started, I'm just getting older. I need to just have general checkups and stuff. And they were having a hard time getting my insurance to work because my insurance card said Mike, but the system has me as Michael.
Oh, please.
I'm just, it's like, okay.
So
yeah.
I have a similar problem. When I was born in New York, and the governor of New Jersey was Richard John Hughes. My name. There are a lot of me that are bad guys, so I had to get a U pin. So when I fill out a 4473, it can determine that I'm not all these other bad Richard John Hugheses. But then I think most people never see a U pin. So when it goes to, whoever's checking it, they don't know what to do.
Yeah. I was
John Carpenter.
Will take real long.
I don't know if you remember John Carpenter down in Florida, but I wrote a story about this guy named John Carpenter, which is the name of a famous director too. Just to point that out, where he got red flagged.
Oh yeah.
And the thing is, somebody went and they filed a red flag order against a John Carpenter, and they pulled up the concealed carry
list,
and it said, all right, he has a concealed carry permit, so it must be him. and the dude, I found the actual John Carpenter within like 5 minutes, like where he lived at and everything. The one that was supposed to be a red flag, he had a big swastika tattoo on his chest and stuff like this. And this guy was like, you know, on his Facebook, he's like fishing with his kids and everything else. He's never lived there. The person that red flagged was like, that's the wrong person. And they were like, no, that's the right person. They're like, no, that's not the right person. And it took articles and it took media inquiries to get them to go ahead and revoke the red flag law, even though that the person that red flagged was like, you guys got the wrong person. They're like, no, we got the right person.
Oh my!
It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, that's nuts.
Mistaken identities, basically. Well, we're gonna get out of here. Thank you so much for coming on.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. I really appreciate it.
And we'll see you guys later.